And that way you won't forget to do a bunch of stuff. You'll have a worksheet to remind you, and you're not like laying in bed the night before your wedding like, oh my God, did I finish everything? Hey blushing brides, welcome back to my channel. I'm Kyle James. If you're new here, welcome. I am super excited to help you plan your dream day. I post new wedding planning videos every single Wednesday, so be sure that you hit that subscribe button and follow along. Today I wanted to share with you 10 things that you need to have to be able to plan your wedding from start to finish without missing a single detail. So I prefer to put all of this together in a wedding planning binder. That way you can organize your thoughts and get it all out in front of you. Also, you're not like searching through your million Google Drive folders like, where did I put that worksheet? You know where everything is and it's all in one place. And that way you won't forget to do a bunch of stuff. You'll have a worksheet to remind you, and you're not like laying in bed the night before your wedding like, oh my God, did I finish everything? You'll know that you did. Really quick before we get started, I wanted to let you know that everything I'm going to discuss today is included in the Unveiled Ultimate Wedding Planner. So if you just want to make this super easy and get it all at once and all the information all in one place, you can go grab your copy of the Unveiled Ultimate Wedding Planner after you watch this video. I will link it in the description below. Okay, so here we go. Number 1, you need to have a monthly calendar. You need to have a calendar that is with all of your other wedding planning stuff, where you can lay out in front of you exactly what you need to be doing for the month. You can totally put all this stuff in your phone, but you just can't have it all laid out in front of you as easily as if you have it out on paper. So in the Unveiled Ultimate Wedding Planner, I have a monthly calendar for each section, and it also includes a little area where you can write your goals for each week. You want to keep these monthly calendars right next to your monthly checklists. And that brings me to my next wedding planning must-have, which is a wedding planning checklist that is broken down by month. Broken down by month being the keywords there. If you have a big, gigantic wedding planning checklist that's just like one big, long list that you're trying to work through, you're gonna feel totally stressed out and overwhelmed. If you have everything broken down into little checklists that you can focus on just one checklist at a time, I feel like wedding planning will feel much more attainable. And this way I feel like you can really focus on what you need to be doing in that specific month, because you know that everything else will be covered in the future wedding planning checklists. In the Unveiled Ultimate Wedding Planner, I have it broken down by 12 months out, 11 months out, 10 months out, etc. You can definitely start planning earlier than that and just start working on those checklists in order. But it's so much easier to have everything laid out by month so that you can focus on just the one month instead of trying to run around like a chicken with your head cut off trying to get everything done at once. The next wedding planning must-have is a big picture vision. You need to have this big picture vision, and you need to have it written out on paper. Do not keep it in your head. I feel like if you don't know your goal, there's no way you're gonna get there. You can be as high level or as detailed as you want to, depending on how clear your vision is for your wedding, but you need to get something written out. I have you complete this as your very first worksheet in the Unveiled Ultimate Wedding Planner because I think it sort of brings a sense of calm to the chaos. If you keep everything in your head, it starts to feel like overwhelming and like you're not going to be able to bring it all together. But once you get it written out in front of you, it feels a lot more doable. The next piece that you must have in order to successfully plan your wedding without going completely broke is a budget. If you've been following my channel for a while, then you've heard me say this time and time again. If you don't sit down and create a wedding budget and then allocate it out and then track it as you go, you're gonna completely blow it. Do not keep your budget in your head unless you want to double or triple it. You need to know how much you have to spend total. Then you need that broken down by specific category, and then you need to be tracking everything as you go. So every time you go and book a vendor, you come home and you write that in your wedding planning budget, and then you adjust your total budget so that you know how much you have to spend through the rest of the wedding planning process. You might still go over budget in some categories, but at least you'll be aware that you did go over budget so that you can adjust your future decisions accordingly. So you need to keep these worksheets towards the front of your wedding planner, and I suggest having a specific tab just for the budget section so it's really accessible and easy to flip to, and so that you don't forget about it. The next thing that you need to have in order to plan your wedding without missing any details is questions to ask each and every vendor. So you've most likely never planned a wedding before, so you just don't know what you don't know. And there are so many little things and little details that you really need to know, especially when you're making choices as to which vendor you want to book. So I have questions to ask worksheets for each specific vendor in the Unveiled Ultimate Wedding Planner, and I suggest interviewing at least 3 different people with each of these questions before you decide which vendor you want to book. I think this gives you a full picture of the services that each one provides, and you'll really be able to get a feel as to which one is right for you. If you want a taste as to what my questions to ask worksheets look like, you can go watch my wedding venue shopping video, and I include a free download of the questions to ask your potential wedding venue. So go watch that video and grab that download. I'll link that one below. The next wedding planning must have is a guest list tracker. I like to do version 1 of the guest list out on paper. There's something about physically writing it out in front of you so that you can really see how your guest list is gonna work together and who you want there and who you might not. And then you can totally transfer this over to a spreadsheet if you feel more comfortable that way, but I like to have it on paper at least to start when you're making the decisions as to who to invite. The next wedding planning must-have is a decor and sign tracker. You end up buying so many little things throughout your wedding planning process, especially if you have a really long engagement. You'll kind of find things along the way that you want to include maybe as decor, or as favors, or whatever, but you end up accumulating all this stuff, and by the time the wedding rolls around, you don't actually know what you have. So it's really important to keep a list of everything, as well as a description of it, how many you have, and where you want these things placed on the wedding day. You want to have this full list all written out and ready so that you can give it to your day of coordinator, so they know exactly where everything needs to go and what they're looking for in your decor, so that you can be sitting there sipping mimosas with your girls and not worrying about whether your decor is going to make it to the right places. The next wedding planning must-haves are layouts and seating charts. So along the same lines as the decor and sign tracker, you need to have your ceremony, your reception, and your cocktail layouts drawn out and given to your day of coordinator so that you can make sure everything gets set up correctly for your big day. Here's what the layout worksheets look like in the Unveiled Ultimate Planner. They just give you some space so that you can draw everything out. This will also help you make sure you don't miss anything when you're doing your rentals order. If you have it all drawn out, you'll know how many tables you need, how many linens, how many chairs, etc. The next thing that you need to have to be able to plan your wedding is a place to write your vows. I love to include this space in your wedding planner so that it's right there with all of your other stuff. That way if you get inspired and you hear a quote you want to use, or you just think of something that you want to share in your vows, you have it right there with all of your other stuff. It's also a friendly little reminder to think about your vows as you go through your wedding planning process, so that you can get them written out and you're not rushing to figure out what you want to say the night before the wedding. Because obviously this part is extra important. It is the point of the entire wedding. So be sure that you have a place to write your vows and you're thinking about that as you go through your wedding planning process. The next thing that you must have in order for your wedding day to run smoothly is a wedding day timeline. You really need to have a schedule written out for your big day. Now, most people run late. I totally get that. I don't think I've ever actually seen a wedding go on time, but you really want to have this written out so that you at least know the order of events and the things that you want to get done. Your wedding day goes by so fast, and you can totally forget to do cake cutting or a bouquet toss and stuff like that if you don't have it written out and you don't have your day of coordinator reminding you that, oh, next we're going to do the cake cutting or whatever. You really want to make sure that you have a list of everything that you want to do on your big day, because it will go by super fast and you don't get a chance to do it over if you miss something. So be sure that you have that all written out. So like I mentioned, each and every one of these things is included in the Unveiled Ultimate Wedding Planner, and it's all in order for you so you know what you need to be doing and when you need to be doing it. The link for that is in the description, so you can go grab your copy. And be sure that you don't miss a single planning detail, because let's be real, there are so many little details that go into the perfect wedding day. So you want to make sure that you have all of these things so that you can keep track of everything and make sure that you're not missing anything. I hope this video was helpful. Please give it a thumbs up if it was, and send it over to those other brides in your life, and I'll see you next Wednesday. Happy planning!
I watch you as you drive. Do you know I'm looking? And I can't help but smile. Do you know how much I love you? You put my favorite song on, I put my feet up, and we just sing along. And I can't help but feeling just loving